Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Conceptual Genetics and Breeding. In today's video, we will discuss about the experiment carried out by two scientists, Michelson and Stahl. These were the scientists who carried out an experiment to provide proof that DNA replication takes place through semi-conservative mode of replication. So this was the experiment which demonstrated that in case of prokaryotes, DNA replication takes place by semi-conservative mode of replication. So in our earlier videos, we have already discussed that DNA replication takes place by semi-conservative mode, and beside this semi-conservative mode, there were also two modes were suggested. One was conservative mode and another one was disruptive type of DNA replication. So this experiment proved that DNA replication only takes place by semi-conservative mode of replication. So first of all, what is semi-conservative DNA replication? We will discuss a little bit that these two scientists named as Matthew Michelson and Franklin Stahl. These were two scientists who carried out experiment in 1958, and they demonstrated that in E. coli DNA replication takes place by semi-conservative mode. So what they did, they grew these E. coli cell. E. coli is a bacteria, Escherichia coli. They grew these cells for many generations in a medium in which the heavy isotope of nitrogen, that is nitrogen 15, was substituted for the normal nitrogen, that is nitrogen 14. So they generally we all know that nitrogen it is having 7 valency, 7 nitrogen 14 is its atomic mass is 14. So if we take heavy isotope of the nitrogen which is having nitrogen 15, they took this in place of this nitrogen 14, okay, because this nitrogen 15 it will have more density as compared to this nitrogen 14. And why they took this nitrogen? Because you all know that the nitrogenous bases in DNA, they are present, purines and pyrimidines. Two type of nitrogenous bases are present and they all have nitrogen in their structure. So if you will see the DNA structure, you will see that it is the basic structure of the DNA, okay, and in which there are in between one sugar phosphate backbone is there, two sugar phosphate backbones, and in between these sugar phosphate backbones these nitrogenous bases are present, okay. They are paired like adenine, it joined with double hydrogen bond with thymine, and guanine it triple hydrogen bond with cytosine. So in that manner they attach with each other, and that's why these two sugar phosphate backbones they attach with each other. So because in DNA nitrogen is present in nitrogenous bases only, and what are these nitrogenous bases? They are pyrimidines and purines. So there are three type of pyrimidines, but in case of DNA there are two type of pyrimidine, one is thymine and another one is cytosine, and you will see in the structure that all have nitrogen. And if you will see the purines, you will see that nitrogen is present in their structure too, okay. So many molecules of nitrogens are present in both purines and pyrimidines. So basically these purine and pyrimidines they contain nitrogen, thus the DNA of cells grown on medium containing nitrogen 15 will have a greater density. Because what is density? Density is mass per unit volume, because it is heavy. It is having atomic mass more as compared to normal one, so it will have greater density as compared to those cells, the cells which are growing on the nitrogen 14. So this was the basic thing which they took into consideration when they were experimenting, okay. So you will see that molecules with different densities, they can be separated by equilibrium density gradient centrifugation. So this is the method which they use. Okay, they centrifuge the cells having different density, means having different nitrogen molecules. So the nitrogen 14, it will be clearly separated with nitrogen 15 because it is lighter as compared to this. So the E. coli cell DNA which is having nitrogen 15, it will be a little bit heavier as compared to the DNA in which nitrogen 14 is there. So this was the base of their experiment. So by using this technique, Michelson and Stahl, they were able to distinguish between the three possible modes of DNA replication by following the changes in the density of the DNA from cells grown on medium containing nitrogen 15, and after that they transfer those cells into the medium containing nitrogen 14. So this is known as density transfer experiment. So this experiment is known as density transfer experiment, and we will discuss this density transfer experiment. So if you will see here that you can recall that there are three modes of DNA replication. This is semi-conservative mode, this is conservative mode, and this is dispersive mode. In semi-conservative mode, we have already discussed in the previous videos that the two strands, they separate from each other, and by taking template of the one strand, you will see that here the old strand is showing in this purple color, okay, and new strand is synthesized which is showing in blue color. So this is semi-conservative, means half the DNA from the newly synthesized two strand of DNAs, one is old one and one is newer one, okay, the newly synthesized strand. And here also one is older strand, and this blue color showing is the newly synthesized strand. So that's why it is semi-conservative, means half has been conserved from the previous generation. So by their experiment, they will show that this is the actual mode of DNA replication. So density transfer experiment. Okay, we will see a little bit background here before going to discuss the actual experiment. So if we see that the density of most of the DNA is about same as the density of concentrated solution of heavy salt such as cesium chloride. So they took cesium chloride in their experiment because the density of cesium chloride solution is almost equal to the density of the normal DNA. Okay, the normal DNA which is containing nitrogen 14. Okay, so for example, the density of 6 molar CaCl is about 1.7 gram per centimeter cube. So this is the density of 6 molar solution of CaCl, means cesium chloride. So E. coli DNA which is having nitrogen 14 means the normal DNA. This normal DNA, it will have the density of 1.710 gram per centimeter cube. Okay, so this is almost equal to the 6 molar density of CaCl. And if we substitute nitrogen 14 for nitrogen 15, means in place of nitrogen 14, if we substitute in DNA nitrogen 15, then the density will increase to 1.724 gram per centimeter cube. So there will be difference in the density. Okay, if we make the heavy nitrogen in the DNA, then density will automatically increase. So when a 6 molar CaCl solution is centrifuged at very high speed for long period of time, an equilibrium density gradient is formed. Okay, so if you will see the image here, we have prepared the solution and we have mixed both. Okay, here you can see that prepare 6 molar solution and add mixture of DNA. You will see that if we add mixture of both the DNA, means the DNA containing nitrogen 14 as well as nitrogen 15, and we will centrifuge it at a very high rate. Centrifuge is basically, it is done in the tubes. Okay, we make solutions in the tubes and we put it in the machine, the centrifuge machine, then it will rotate. Okay, you can see that it is the sign of rotation. So in this direction these tubes will rotate at a very high speed. Okay, high speed is 50 round per minute, 50,000 round per minute, RPM. Okay, so it is very high speed. We centrifuge these tubes at very high speed for 48 to 72 hours, and then after that an equilibrium will be formed in the tube, and you will see that this is the equilibrium which has been formed. The DNA which is containing nitrogen 14, okay, the DNA in which nitrogen 14 is there, it will be below because it is having lesser density. But the DNA which is having the DNA which is having nitrogen 15, it will be below because it is having more density. So it is heavier one, it will be below in the tube, whereas the DNA which is having nitrogen 14, it will be above because it will be lighter because its density is less as compared to this heavy DNA. So likewise a density ingredient, this gradient has been formed, and after that you can also separate the DNA, both the DNA on the basis of this density gradient. So that's why it is known as density gradient experiment. Okay, so if DNA will be present in such gradient, it will move to a position where the density of the cesium chloride solution is equal to its own density. So because we have already said that the normal nitrogen 14 DNA, it will have almost equal density as the 6 molar CaCl solution. So with this solution our DNA will also make a gradient, and on the basis of this gradient we can separate our DNA on the basis of that which DNA that will have nitrogen 15, it will be below in the tube, and which DNA which is having light nitrogen 14, it will be above because it is light and the nitrogen 15 containing DNA is heavy. So this is some of the highlights of the how this gradient density gradient experiment will work for the DNA. So density transfer experiment. Now we will discuss the actual experiment which they carried out. So Michelson and Stahl, they took cells that had been grown in a medium containing nitrogen 15 for many generations. So all the cells, the DNA which is present in the cells, it will contain the heavy DNA which is nitrogen 15. Okay, after that they washed cells to remove the medium containing nitrogen 15. Now they transferred the cells in the new medium in which nitrogen 14 was there. So basically all the cells, they were having the DNA, and all the DNA they will having nitrogen 15, means heavy DNA is there. So after that, after that they will transfer these cells in the medium, okay, in which nitrogen 14 is there. So these cells, now whatever the DNA replication will be there, in which nitrogen 14 will be incorporated in the DNA. So after the cells were allowed to grow in the presence of nitrogen 14 for varying period of time. Okay, so for 1 generation, 2 generation, 3 generation, they grow the cells in the nitrogen 14 containing medium and they saw the results. Okay, so after that DNA was extracted from these cells and analyzed in CaCl equilibrium density gradient. All the DNA isolated from the cells after 1 generation of growth in the medium containing nitrogen 14 had a density halfway between the densities of heavy and light DNA. So what they did, they continuously grow the cells in the medium containing nitrogen 15 so that all the DNA present in all the cells, it can become heavy one. Okay, now it is heavy, all the heavy DNA. After that, for 1 generation only, they transfer these cells in the medium containing nitrogen 14. So now you all know that how DNA replication will take place. These two strands, they will be separate and a new strand will be synthesized by taking this old strand as a template. So one will be heavier one and one will be lighter one, because now nitrogen 14 is there in the medium. So the newly synthesized strand, it will have, suppose this is the older one, it will have nitrogen 15, and this is the newer one, it will have nitrogen 14. So its density will be between the heavy and the light, okay, because it is a hybrid molecule. So we can say that this intermediate density, it will be known as hybrid density. So with the diagram, it will be more clear to all of you. Now you will see that in the diagram. So here the cells, they are having, all the cells, they will have the nitrogen 15. So it is the heavy one, okay. Suppose this is heavy one, it will be below, it will here, okay, because all the cells were having heavy DNA, so it will be in the back side of the tube. So this is the tube, for example, because it is heavy, it will be back side. And after that you will see that when it will go in the next generation where nitrogen 14 will be there. So this is the older strand and this is the newer strand. So this new strand, it will have nitrogen 14, and this blue color, it is older strand, it will have nitrogen 15. So their density will be in between. If you will see the density in this generation, after one generation, you will found that in the gradient, these DNA will be in the middle. This is the lighter DNA, this is the heavier DNA, okay, and the after one generation, it will be a hybrid, because in this one strand will have nitrogen 15, means it is the heavy one, and one strand is having nitrogen 14, means this strand will be the lighter one. So if you extract the DNA in this generation, you will see that the DNA, neither it will be in the back side nor it will be in the front side, because its density will be in the middle only, because it is a hybrid molecule. So in this manner we can say that DNA replication is semi-conservative, okay. You will see. So after 2 generations of growth in medium containing nitrogen 14, half of the DNA was of hybrid density and half was light. So these results, they are precisely those predicted by Watson and Crick in the semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. Because one generation of semi-conservative replication of a parental double helix containing nitrogen 14 in the medium having nitrogen 14, it will produce 2 progeny double helix, both of which have nitrogen 15 on one strand, which is the older strand, and nitrogen 14 in the newly synthesized strand. So if you will see in the image, you will see that this was the result of first generation. After first generation of replication in the medium containing nitrogen 14, so each molecule will be of hybrid type. That's why only the band in between, means we can say the DNA will be reside in between the heavy one and the lighter one and the heavy one. So it will be somewhat in between. But when second generation of replication will take place, you will see that these both strands, they will be separated, and these strands, they will be separated. So here this strand, for example, it is older one, it is newer one. So this strand is older one, and this is new one. So you can see that when synthesis will take place, this molecule will have one parental strand and one new strand, but this molecule will have both newly synthesized strand. So this will be of hybrid type, having blue color, showing in blue color, that is containing nitrogen 15, and this yellow color showing nitrogen 14. But this newly synthesized strand, it is now of lighter type. both strand will have nitrogen 14. That's why if you will see that half the DNA will be of hybrid density, this one, and half DNA will be of lighter density. So these results, they only occur when there is a semi-conservative mode of DNA replication. Even after third generation of this DNA synthesis, you will see that only 2 strands will be of hybrid type, and these other strands, 6 strands will be of newly synthesized, means they will be of lighter type. So here you can see that 2 strand will be of hybrid density, and these 6 strand, they will give you the lighter density. Okay, so here the band will be in the space lighter one. Okay, because its density is little bit less as compared to hybrid density. So this is Michelson and Stahl's demonstration of semi-conservative DNA replication in E. coli. So this is the entire experiment. On the basis of this experiment, they prove that DNA replication actually takes place by semi-conservative method of DNA replication. So thank you so much.